Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the BBO NYG Podcast. I am Mike. That is Jules. That is John. Guys, F the Eagles. But before we get into that, we got to talk about our boy, our beloved Giant, the longest tenured Giant, like pretty much right now, was Sterling Shepard, man. He announced his retirement. Very, very sad day. I think, Jules, John, I said it last year before the season started. I was like, I didn't even think that guy would make the team. I think they just kind of put him on the team because he was such a good locker room presence. And I think that's how the Giants organization is. They treat people right. And, wish him well, man, whatever he does.
Yeah, Jules, before you just joined the Zoom, me and Mike were talking about him. And it just, like I was telling Mike, it just goes to show, like, how the Giants organization is viewed by the players within the organization. You know, we're going to get into some stuff about Wink and how all that, seems a little bit tumultuous. But as far as the players are concerned, Eli Manning took pride in being only a Giant. Saquon's talked about for years, only wanted to be a Giant. And Sterling Shepard, although he had some injuries and some severe concussions, I think a lot of wide receivers, especially whatever he is, 29, 28 years old, would look for the opportunity to extend his career somewhere else. And not that it's the only reason why he did this, because it was a Giant, but I think part of it is there's a novelty of, like, I only play for the Giants my whole career. Like, I'm a career Giant and that's it. And you got to respect him for that, bro. He was relegated to a little bit more of a, beefy cheerleader role this season, but it's just cool to see his face, man. From when he was first drafted, coming into that situation with Eli Manning and fucking Odell and all that shit that was going on with Tom Coughlin. And then, I mean, since then, he's got 4 different head coaches and just never really had a good shot to compete at a high level. But he always gave us his all, bro. So shout to Shep. Thank you very much, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, look, I thought he had the potential to be one of the better players and maybe be one of the better all-time Giants wide receivers. Unfortunately, injuries fucking just hit him too hard, man. That was always the big thing with him. Just injury. Poor guy couldn't stay healthy. But listen, it was a good career. You know what I mean? For the most part. How many seasons in the NFL? Like 6, 7, right? 8, maybe even. Right?
I think he was drafted in 2016.
Yeah, so there you go. 2016. So, I mean, yeah, 8 seasons in the NFL. I mean, that's fucking impressive, dude. You know, not everybody's going to go to the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
I only got one
Ring of Honor.
I only got one negative to say about him, though.
Okay.
He was one of the guys on the boat.
That's it. As you said, I knew where you were going.
Well, then that would be it, right? That's the last one.
That's it.
Boat curse. So that's
the
it.
only.
We're in the clear now.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right. That's the way to look at it. That's it. That curse has been rinsed.
But listen, the Giants weren't cursed on Sunday because they just fucking tore the Eagles a new asshole for most of the game, where eventually the Eagles just started sitting guys. It was fantastic to watch. I'm so glad they just shit on them. We needed a win against the fucking hated Eagles, and I'm just happy about it. I really am. Fuck that. And we just moved back one draft pick. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, look, that was the other thing too, right? Like, when it came down to things, it was like going into that point in time, literally the only thing that can happen was we would have needed Arizona to upset Seattle, which almost happened. But if that would have had to take place, we would have had to lose to the Eagles, and then we would have went to the 4th spot. Knowing that they lost, and we would have just either, win, lose, or draw, basically the only result would have been to move back to 6 and be able to kick the fucking Eagles' ass and maybe even hurt Jalen Hurts a little bit. Fuck damn, bro. And you know what's funny about that shit is all this talk about how, like, oh, he's MVP candidate, he's this, he's that. Oh, look at all these quarterbacks blowing up. He didn't have his 2 wide receivers, and he looked like absolute dog shit. My man couldn't fucking do a thing. All right. So
Funny how that works.
No DeAndre Swift, no Devontae Smith, no AJ Brown, and all of a sudden he looked like an absolute fucking mid-range average fucking quarterback. Oh, it's funny how that shit works, huh?
We were talking about during the game.
Oh, for real. I mean, it was a joke.
not to beat a dead horse or eat its shit. Like Philly fans like Philly fans like to do here.
I love it.
In Philly. But
They
I
love
just
the taste.
it was just watching that game, man, was just a reminder of like how these fans root for losses. Like in that moment, watching that game, forget about everything else that's going on. You're watching the Giants whoop the Eagles to the point of them fucking literally throwing in a towel with 5 minutes left of the second quarter. I don't care what the fuck's going on. I don't care about we're sitting home next week and they're not sitting home this week. Just in that moment, that wasn't on my mind. It was just watching the Giants win a fucking ball game against a hated rival. And what we would have picked 2 picks different to not get the fucking not beat them, not get that monkey off our back, not be able to go into next season saying that we're losers of 13 straight and fucking 15, whatever the stats were against Dallas and fucking whatchamacallit and Eagles. At least we broke that now. We don't have to hear about that shit, and we can go into next season. It's just another 2 games on the calendar against a division rival, and we can go there and fucking maybe win 2 games out of it and make it not be a circus going into both times.
So you know they're going to use the excuse that they didn't have all their guys, right? Like you're going to hear that bullshit. We can go back.
Didn't either.
But whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know you're going to hear that. It's going to be a different team, and that's fine. But one thing that stood out to me was Okereke. He set the tone very early in that game. They were doing that fucking push-tush bullshit. And I think it was like on the second attempt or the third attempt that they were getting ready to do it. My man literally leaps over the fucking line of scrimmage, jumps into that fucking Philly backfield, and just got in Jalen Hurts' face and was like, nah, we ain't doing this shit. I'd rather jump off sides like this every single time. And guess what's going to happen eventually? I'm going to fucking just hit you and take that 15-yard penalty. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, that shit set the tone. If you notice, they didn't even fucking think about doing anything like that again. As a matter of fact, I didn't even see Jalen Hurts run again after that.
That's right. I mean? Yeah.
Like, bro, you literally went in there, old school, set that tone. It was like, you ain't doing this shit to us today, bro. Fucking try that shit somewhere else. You know what I mean? Yeah. You gotta respect that kind of shit.
It was a wildly athletic play.
Yo, that was sick. That was sick. Jalen Hurts, I couldn't really see the full expression on his face, but it was kind of like, oh shit, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, where?
It's gotta be like a fucking tiger jumping over a fucking bush, bro, jumping at you. Like
that was fucking great. I'll tell you that to me, that literally just kind of like really solidified the tone of that game, and that was the end of it there, where it was almost just like, you know what, this game is fucking over. We're done. We're getting out of there. We're coming away with the dub, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. Win the game against your fucking division rival at home, last game of the season. Everybody's packing up the fucking locker rooms after. Why would you want to go into the offseason with that bad taste in your mouth? Like, oh, we lost the fucking again to the Eagles. Like, why would you want that? How do you?
And not only that, too. Like at the time, too, there was a lot going on. At one point, Washington was beating Dallas. So at that one point, with the game being tight on our end or us pushing away, it was almost as if all 4 of these teams were like looking at the scoreboard to see what the other 2 were doing. You know what I mean? And like you could almost see it was like, all right, who wants it more? And Dallas went after it. Philly never did. You know what I mean? Like they kind of just laid down because that's what they've been doing the last like month and a half of the season.
They got problems going to the playoffs, bro.
You know what I mean? Look, I mean, the only thing that sucks is they can get it right. They got to go down to Tampa and they got to play fucking Baker and all that bullshit. So it's like they could get it right, but whatever.
Jules, we were supposed to be there get right game, and we fucking smacked them. We reinforced the trouble in paradise that they have right there. Imagine that game went the other way, and they won the way Dallas won. Going in, saying, we're finally playing better, 35-10, final game of the season in Jersey, beat the Giants. Now you're going to reinvigorate the entire locker room. Now we just took their heart out of them even more. So we should be seeing a first-round exit by fucking Philly, and we could all celebrate that.
I don't know. But the thing is that they definitely, even if they do somehow pull out that win against the Bucks, they got to go to San Fran after that. And I don't give them too much credit there. Right. You know what I mean? Right. But, listen, that was fun. That was a good way to end the season. I mean, boys, shit. The fucking season is officially over. Can you believe that? No. Holy shit. 18 season, 17 games. Season, all that shit done.
You gotta start saying goodbye to players now, and then we gotta say goodbye to a few coaches. So who left or who resigned or who got fired?
Before we dive into the coaches and everything else that's going on in Giants land, just real quick. National title game was played last night, Michigan versus Washington. There was a lot of attention because there's going to be some drafts, there's going to be some picks, there's going to be some really top picks that are going, not necessarily the quarterbacks, right? Because JJ McCarthy, I know his name's getting thrown around, and I think he got his record to like 24, 25-1 as a Michigan starting quarterback or something remarkable like that, with his only loss being in the fucking semifinals last year to TCU. So hats off to him. Do I think he's worthy of a top 10 pick as a quarterback? Absolutely not. I'm gonna go out and fucking say that from the start without question. I was hoping that Penix would step up and would honestly have a little bit better of a showing. But apparently that Michigan defense deserved its number 1 ranking in the country, as much as that pains me to say. All right. And it showed up. I mean, there was a couple of questionable calls that could have gotten Rome Odunze a little bit more yardage and a little bit more highlight and stats. But he still looked very good. I'll tell you that dude is fucking, I think he's 2B when it comes to the top 3 wide receivers that are coming off the draft board this year. Okay. So it was great to see him out there playing. We'll see what some of these other guys are going to do. There's some defensive players that are great too. Some of those corners are really top-notch corners in this fucking draft. So just some names to keep an eye on. It's always good to see the college. There'll be some Senior Bowl games coming up. But that to me was, I was expecting hopefully a little better of a matchup, but Michigan just took it to him, man. It was fucking interesting to see. And after that game, Penix is no longer a first round to me. At best, the kid's a second round draft pick. He walked out of there gimpy with his ribs again. He's got injury problems. He's been in college for 6 seasons. He's only 23, but you know what? I don't think he has that upper echelon that these other quarterbacks in this draft have.
Yeah, I got nothing to say about the game except I bet Michigan and I won money on them. I actually forgot the game was on. I thought it was on a little bit later, and I caught the live wager on -6.5. So I'm like, go Michigan. You're right, Jules. That quarterback definitely slid down. Him and JJ. They're like mid-pack guys. So, it's something you don't reach at number 6, obviously. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot about the drafts after the Super Bowl and shit, so I won't go into details about it. But, yeah, it was a fun game, man. I liked watching Michigan kick their ass yesterday.
And listen, for the most part, it was a 7-point game into the fourth quarter for a while. Michigan just pulled away, and that's like the second half of that fourth quarter, basically, and then just put that game to rest,
Yep.
But listen, like I said, it was fun to watch. And Rome Odunze, that's a name to fucking keep an eye on, because I'm telling you right now, depending on how the combine goes and everything else, it's him and fucking the kid out of LSU for that race for that number 2 wide receiver off the board.
I like the name. Just it sounds like Yura or Jason Pierre-Paul. Sounds like a guy like that,
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's not currently projected to go in the top 10, but I mean, that kid's got all the talent. I mean, if you watched it, he was missed on a fucking wide open pass that literally was, I don't know if you want to blame that on Penix or him. Maybe he was supposed to fade out to the sideline a little bit more. Not sure. That would have inflated. He was probably gone. That would have been an extra 40, 60 yards on his fucking stat chart for the night. Then they had one called back on a really suspect holding penalty on the right tackle, where basically kind of spun him around. And then, like, I really didn't see any holding there, but that was another big 35, 40-yard gain. So, I mean, he should have had a really fucking big game last night. Unfortunately, it didn't show up as it did, but I'm telling you, that kid he's got it, bro. He's a wide receiver 1 without question.
All right.
I didn't watch the game.
Now, listen, that's just like you said, Mike. That's just shit that we're gonna go over in more detail in the upcoming months for sure. But it was just fresh and off the top of the mind because the game was played just a few hours, 24 hours ago. But listen, on to Giants, right? I mean, lots has happened, right? They call it Black Monday for a reason, right? The Monday after the fucking final season game, lots of shit usually happens. And you know what, Giants? I thought we were gonna be a little bit quiet, but no, they were not. Like, needless to say, they were not even close to being quiet.
I mean, they let the whole fucking coaching staff go. I mean, I think everybody knows the names, but if you guys want to say all the names, be my guest. I forgot.
Yeah, I mean,
I lost my list.
By now, the Wilkins brothers got fired for linebacker and line coach, defense, right? Then offensively, Jones and the for the fucking offensive line and special teams coach, they've all been fired. And
Bobby Johnson, Thomas McGahee.
Yep. Thank you. And Wink resigned. He wasn't fired. He resigned because at 8 a.m, and this is where we're gonna get to in a moment. But at 8 a.m, both Dable and Shane had come on for a press conference. And during that press conference, they said that they expected both coordinators to be back. And then it was like maybe a couple hours later that Wink ended up retiring. Oh, excuse me, resigning.
Yeah, dude, I got a different take on this, and you guys might.
Okay.
Although it is a huge loss as far as the team is concerned, it makes me a little bit nervous about what actually is going on in the building, because it is a rare day to see a prominent coach like that resign from his position. It's just something you don't really see very often unless he's going to pursue head coaching jobs, but that wouldn't preclude him from staying with the Giants as far as being a defensive coordinator. He just said, fuck you guys, I'm out of here, which makes me think like, all right, this guy has shown a lot of success in his position in this league. He's obviously he wants to be a head coach and all that jazz, but as far as up until this point, like he's had a lot of success as a defensive coordinator, even in our building. And for him to be like, I'm done here, makes me get a little bit nervous about like, just makes you think twice about Dable and what's going on. Like last year was great and all that stuff. We had a great fucking season and stuff. But if Wink is right, what he's saying is that was an anomaly. This franchise is going nowhere. I want no part of it. It makes you doubt Daniel Jones, makes you doubt the future of the team. It just sheds like a real eerie fucking just tint to what's going on here. I don't know. What I thought is if he was, as good a coach as he is, if he saw promise, I don't think he'd be leaving. The fact that he's leaving like that just feels real weird, man. I don't know.
I mean, that's an interesting take. That's an interesting take. Mike, what were you saying? What were you getting ready to say?
Well, the thing is, like, maybe with Wink going, I'll talk about the offensive line in a minute, but with Wink going, maybe our edge rushers will actually focus on rushing the passer instead of going back in coverage. That was like, I mean, to have Kate Thibodeau drop back in coverage seems like a waste for me, but that's just my opinion. I'm not a defensive coordinator.
How often did that happen, though?
It happened a good amount of times.
A lot early on. The first month.
Early on it did. We were losing.
And then obviously they started progressing where it happened less and less.
Okay, I give him credit for that, for adjusting.
Right.
But that was pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And then obviously our offensive line, finally, I think everybody been saying, you got to get rid of this fucking guy. I mean, when you have a guy like Evan Neal come out of Alabama with all this talent, and then he looked great in college, and then all of a sudden he kept getting worse in the NFL. Like his technique was off. Everybody's like, oh, throw him to guard. Like that's just going to magically fix everything. It don't work that way. It just seems like he needs to be coached, and hopefully the next guy that gets in here, maybe Mike Munchak or whatever from back at the day, get him out of retirement. I know that's a name keeps popping up, but get him somebody here to fix this fucking mess. You can't have guys like Feliciano go to another team. He's the best guard in the NFL playing with San Francisco.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. He's highly rated. Like it's fucking. He hasn't let up a sack all year. Like it's just
like that, bro. That's
you got to know. Like, all right,
red flag, bro.
If he's not a center,
not that, Mike, you forgot to mention that Schmitz actually regressed.
He regressed all year. He regressed.
But the kid's supposed to get better. He got worse as the season got on. So I mean,
something's up. They're not respecting the coaching staff.
Something was definitely no. And look, those were firings that were anticipated, to say the least, right? You were anticipating seeing something happen with the offensive line coach. You were hoping to see something happen defensively with the linebackers and with their coaching staff, right? And you were hoping to see that. What happens is with Wink, right? This is where it's kind of like bowling into it. I know I try to deflect a lot of things the last 24 hours or so and basically say, well, you know what? Maybe Wink's ready to move on and become a head coach, right? But as, more time has settled in and you start listening to other people and, all the people that are talking about it and bringing it up and bringing up a lot of opinions, there's a couple things going on. One, there's I don't want to say rumor, but there's a thought going on that Dable is a hard coach to work with, possibly. Now, again, this is coming out of Wink, right? This is also coming out of his camp, if you would, and all the things that he's griped with the with the media and certain players and all this kind of shit are saying something along those lines. Now, is that a possibility? Of course it is. Do I feel that that's the possibility? I don't know. And here's why. Because what if it's more so about Wink being that kind of stubborn guy? I mean, look, he had a falling out with John Harbaugh just a couple of seasons ago out in Baltimore. They get rid of him. They fill in a couple of pieces. They get a new guy coming in there, and now they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Not saying that's going to happen with the Giants, but that's just something that you have to keep in mind, right? So he has a little bit more of a past history, if you would, of having like falling outs with his head coach or he's butting heads. And that's why he bought or with the president or GM, whoever it was. And that's why he left Baltimore. Now he comes to the Giants, and after one season, he's already kind of butting heads and he kind of wanted out. And then he kind of, all right, we had a playoff win, so we're coming back. And now he guts it through another season. But midway through that season, he's already pointing fingers. He's already basically trying to say that, I can only coach the defense. I can't coach both the offense and the defense. And, and Dable did a great job, if you would, because he never really let that get out of hand. If you think back with some of these other coaches that we've had over the last, few years, it would have been front page news. It would have been all over the fucking place. I mean, shit. Well, it was mentioned on NFL Today that there was trouble brewing, and all of a sudden the Giants go out and win a game, and then he gives them the game ball and all that bullshit. Fucking Jay Glazer reporting that fucking that it's turmoil and all that shit.
That motherfucker knows. He knows Jay Glazer.
Yeah, Jay Glazer,
he never
bro,
loses.
Right so much.
Yeah,
bro.
he really don't, bro. It's crazy.
Fucking annoying, dude.
That little midget fuck knows everything about football, man.
I don't know
His
what he
family
does to get
owns
his
a team,
information,
right?
but he does something.
Doesn't his family own a team?
I'd have to Google that.
I think he owns like a W.
I know he owned like a
WC
sports
shit.
something or network or training.
Yeah, but I think the Glazer family, like his parents or aunt, uncles, whatever the case is, own one of the franchises. I'm like 97% sure.
I know
Are
that.
you looking it up,
I know what you're
Jules?
saying. I don't think
I'm
they're.
trying to.
I don't think they're related though. I know, John, what you're saying. Like the name, because it sounds familiar. But wouldn't that be a conflict of interest if that's the case?
Yeah,
Well,
seriously.
how?
I don't know. Like I don't know.
Because it's not like you see anybody from the Mara family like doing like fucking announcing for the NFL. You know what I mean? It's not like he does it for a specific team. He does it for the NFL in general. He does it for a network.
The only thing I seen was Kate Mara sing the national anthem one time.
That's different.
You know what I mean? I don't know if that counts, but yeah, I don't know how it works, man. I don't know how those fucking.
But and honestly, that's gonna come. We're gonna really truly find out. Obviously going into the 2024 season, whether or not it's Dable who can't work with anyone, or if it is fucking just Wink. And look, Wink's had, like John mentioned earlier, a really good career, right? The guy has been a very good defense coordinator. Maybe not the greatest, but he's been good. And, after a certain amount of time, you want to be able to, at the very least, maybe he wants a head coaching shot.
That's exactly
I was
right.
about that shit yesterday.
He wants
but at
it.
the end of the day, it's like, dude, if he's really had this much success, maybe he wants to fucking be the guy. And that's why he's butting heads with John Harbaugh and Brian Dable. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like, yo, I'm tired of fucking being a defense coordinator and not being able to do what I want to do. So, there's a lot of vacancies. So we'll see what happens.
I think you're right about that.
Joel Glazer owns the Buccaneers.
And how's he related to Joel?
That's the next Google. I'm just keeping you guys abreast of the situation.
Through nothing.
You know what I mean? Look, and there's a lot of fan base that are very upset by the loss of Wink because he grew on this fan base. He liked it. Look, I was one of them coming in. I was a big fan. I loved I felt like it was an upgrade when we signed him and brought him in.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny shit is the guy he replaced in Patrick Graham, his name is even being thrown around as one of the quiet dark horses as a DC coordinator for this Giants team. Leslie Frazier's another name. There's a few others, but it's funny to hear that he even might be, back. I hope not. Pat Graham, stay out in fucking Vegas. Do what you got to do, bro. I really don't want to have a repeat of him on this defense anymore. But yeah, and then there's internal hiring. That's a possibility. So it's going to be interesting. But at the end of the day, one thing we could say at the end of this 2023 season, in the books and all it's done, with this day shaping up the way it did, it's Dable's team now. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much all of fucking the Gettleman, whatever you want to call it, are out the door. All these lingering fucking coaches are out the door. If there was a true beef with him and Wink or headbutting, that shit's out the door now. You know what I'm saying? Like 2024 is really going to decide what kind of a head coach Brian Dable is.
Hey, listen.
Yeah, there's no question about it. There's no question. It is the test of the current regime. If they fail this year, they are going down to the studs, and they have no choice but to do that.
Just get Antonio Pierce here. Just let him be.
Yeah, dude.
That's another name. Yeah, but
he's going to be a head coach, though, and I want him to be. As
true Pierce fans, wouldn't you want to see him get the head job?
That's what I'm saying, head coach.
Yeah, like come on.
Or
you know,
say,
I don't want to see, speaking of last night, I don't want to see Harbaugh get pulled out of college. And because Brady's got a fucking, liking to him, that all of a sudden he ends up in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see that. Now, whether or not Harbaugh is using that as a bargaining tool to perhaps get himself an even more lucrative contract with Michigan remains to be seen. But, and then, Commander's job has come up. Look, Vrabel got fired from Tennessee. I mean, there's a lot of openings.
I like him.
Guy got an opening.
I like Vrabel.
That's crazy.
I like that.
Bro, Vrabel for DC, bro.
If I had him for DC, I'll take him above anybody else
right now.
I think Vrabel probably takes a year off.
You think
get
so?
Fired like that from Tennessee after, dude, they won that last game. They knocked Jacksonville out of the playoffs. They had, I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 games that were decided by one score that they lost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you don't fire that coach, man. That's crazy.
But they did, and what happens in this situation almost always is either he does get another head coaching job, which he'll know in the next 2-3 weeks if that's going to be the case. If not, then
like at least
he's going to be looking for
next month.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for a high-profile DC job. And
New York,
where else could you possibly go to have a more high-profile spot? And a team primed for defensive success, because now this youngest defense in the league is going to have 1 extra year experience, and at times played like a very good defense with almost all rookie first and second year players, the entire fucking defense. So even after Leo left, there were still fucking players, and Okereke is not going anywhere. The 2 kids who got playing cornerback on the outside aren't going anywhere, and they played well, especially Devontae Banks. I don't think McKinney's going anywhere. This kid Dane Belton, bro, makes plays when he's on the field.
We'll see. We'll see about McKinney.
He's not going to demand a lot of money, so it's not like he's getting a $20 million a year contract. No. So why would he want to stay in Jersey? We just talked about Sterling Shepard and Eli Manning and all that. Maybe there is something to that mystique of playing in New York, that he says, you know what, if I'm going to get 12 in fucking Seattle, or I'm going to get 10-5 in New York, I'm going to stay in New York. I like it here.
Well, that's the other thing too. Unless he's super attached to Wink, you got to keep that in mind. They actually developed a bond, over the last couple of seasons. You don't know. You know what I mean?
But he was here before Wink. He was a giant before Wink.
Yeah, he was here a season before. Sure.
So basically, like, the defensive coordinator is going to get hired pretty much right away before the free agent moves, so they can actually get their guys in, and then
before anything.
Listen, we see what happens. All right, guys, let's take a quick commercial break. We'll get into the rest of the stuff and then get into the picks, and we'll wrap the show up. We'll be right back on the Big Blue Offensive Podcast. All right, we are back on the BBO NYG Podcast. I'm Mike. That's Jules. That's John. Guys, what other things we got going? We got the press conference and Barkley's comments on the way out. What do you want to hit up?
Barkley's on the way out.
Yeah, but Jules, what do you say, man? It was kind of like,
so I'm gonna paraphrase here, of course, but it was basically along the lines of, and I'd rather paraphrase it because I'm gonna make it sound even cooler. but it's not that far off, actually. He basically was just like, look, don't waste my fucking time this year. Either sign me or don't. And that was it. Yeah. He's like, I'm not giving any kind of farewell speech at the podium to say I'm saying goodbye to the Giants. He goes, they know how to reach me. They know my number. Call me and either have a deal for me or don't. And that was it. And it was kind of like an ultimatum, but it wasn't. I guess he just doesn't want to be involved in the circus that he was involved in last year. And he just wants to know, like, dude, should I go to another team because you guys aren't going to pay me, or you guys going to give me a contract? That's it.
You're fucking better, bro. How do you not give this guy a contract? You don't got to give him more than maybe 12, 13. For real. Like, what are you doing here, dude?
You don't have to break the bank. Nobody else is going to break the bank for Barkley.
No.
You give him a fair contract. He's still going strong.
He's not getting 13 though. He's not getting 13.
But you're pinching pennies here. The salary cap's going to be $250 million, $270 million next year.
You got to pay McKinney. You got to pay McKinney.
Yeah, but you got to pay him maybe the same.
You're going to have to bring in a whole free agent class of rookies and other free positions.
It's a lot of money there. Yeah, money there is different, Jules. We got a lot of cap space. Listen,
a lot of cap space.
I don't think you guys.
Daniel Jones' contract actually takes hit this season.
That too, but I don't think you have to worry about Barkley breaking the bank. I mean, let's just be honest.
I'm not saying he's going to break the bank, but also in reality is that I think he's more like of an 11-5 with a bunch of bonuses. You know what I'm trying to say? Like where,
whatever.
He gets 1,000 yards.
I don't care.
14 touchdowns. He receives for another 300-400.
But he's still going strong.
A million or something like that.
He's still going fucking strong. He still makes the offense click. He still breaks tackles. He's still got the speed. Listen, is he the same Barkley 2018 from Penn State Barkley? No, but he's still fucking one of the best running backs out there. You got to keep him, man. Especially
and he's a fucking giant.
I think they're going to do the right thing.
Gotcha.
I think they're going to do the right thing because they seem to be going in that direction. But like I said, Barkley's got to understand that at best, it's 2 years, $25 million with maybe 12 of it guaranteed.
Listen,
you know what I'm trying to say? Like that's a fucking pretty.
I don't think you nickel and diamond, bro. You know what his numbers are.
If he thinks he's gonna do better, then leave, dude.
If he gets a big contract, go ahead.
You make a statement like you just made, leaving the building, right? Saying, look, you know my number. You want to fucking get this done? Come get me and pay me, and let's be done with it.
But Jules, if
you gotta understand that you're not in a market where you're gonna be making 13, 14 million.
If another team gets pays him like $2 more million, just match it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like if it's something like if you're gonna pay him 5 over the length of the contract, no.
Don't lose him over what equivalent to nothing.
Yeah, but
a fucking bag of donuts and tear the heart out of the team.
Yeah, I don't think you do that. I don't think
if he gets $17 million a year from the fucking Raiders or something like that, we just can't.
Exactly. Nobody's paying.
Don't even go there with that.
But that's not a thing. That's like not honestly. That's not on the table for him.
13?
That's what I'm saying.
Not there.
13, honestly,
nobody's paying that shit.
He's going to give him $13 million.
Jules, that's my point. Is if the money is going to be in that 10 to 13, 10 to let's just say
not that. What I'm trying to say is this, John. If literally, like I had said, like about 25, and I'm really stretching there. I think it's more around the lines of about 22, 23 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. If they call him up, say tomorrow, and they're like, "We're talking over we want you back. You're the guy. We love you. Here's the deal: 23 million, 2 years." And he starts fussing around with that. That's on him. That's all I'm trying to say. You know, if they offer him a decent contract, a fair market value, and he turns around and still trying to hold out for more and doing all that bullshit, then it might just be time.
That's fair.
But if not, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. I'm not saying, look, I don't say go lowball. I'm not saying, oh, you didn't live up to expectations this year. You know what? We're going to franchise tag you, so we're going to give you 2 years, $20 million. No. Nah. Give him a decent enough contract. And if he starts fucking like about it, then he might have to go. That's it.
I don't know.
And then the last thing was that the press conference, and again, I'll paraphrase slightly, but basically it was along the lines of saying that, when it came to Jones's contract, Shane was asked, what are you doing with this contract? Are you guys, all in on a quarterback in this draft? What's going on? And basically his response was, you pay a guy this amount of money, you're going to give him the opportunity to be successful, right? So now it was a broad type of statement, but at the same time, it kind of and it's completely logical because, I thought it was just social media that was missing it. But then I saw a couple of fucking like actual like announcers and shit and sportscasters like going the wrong way with it. And they're just like, oh, well, that's it, Giants fans. I hope you're ready that Daniel Jones is your quarterback again next year. And hopefully you buckle in. And regardless if that is or isn't the case, the bottom line is, and this is what I was texting and tweeting and going crazy about, was today. And today, I kept putting the date of what the current date is, right? But as of January 9th, 2024, we have 2 quarterbacks on our roster that are signed. Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones. That's it. Right? There's no free agency yet. There's no trading. There's no fucking NFL draft. So, as of today, there is no question that Daniel Jones is the starter, right? That's it. Now, what happens in the next 4 months? Who knows? And listen, it's just like, Mike, you're a gambler. I like to play poker. I'm not going to show you my hand. I'm not going to let you know what I'm thinking, fucking in January. When I have a draft and all this kind of shit coming up, bro, like imagine Shane was like, yeah, you know what? We're kind of iffy. We might bring in someone to give Jones a run.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine a GM saying that?
Oh, could you?
That's why. That's why I tweeted over Chad Powers. I'm like, the Daniel Jones haters club's not going to like this, just to get them all riled up. Yeah. I know that he's not going to come out and say, you know what, Jones, he didn't do it for us this year, so we're going to look to draft somebody in the 6th spot. Hopefully nobody drafts our quarterback before then. You're like, who in their right mind fucking say that? I'm like, I'm trying to And you try to explain this to the dummies out there. They don't understand.
It was shocking though, because it wasn't just Giants Twitter or social media. There was announcers and actual analysts saying this nonsense. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
It wasn't just Wes Steinberg.
Actually, Wes got it right, because I saw a fucking message from him at like 8 a.m. today. And he was like, excuse me, yesterday rather. And he was like, Wink is leaving. Wink is leaving. And I was like, all right, here we go, Wes. And then fucking 2 hours later, it was like, boom, Wink is gone. I'm like, whoa, Wes got one right.
Yeah, finally. Fucking guy.
Yeah, I mean, but that was just a joke. That just and it kind of holds tied to the whole Barkley thing. And that's where I'm kind of like, look, if they went out in this press conference and they said that it's on the coordinators, we're expecting them to be here with us, and then Wink goes and resigns, and that's fine. And we'll get to the bottom of that when it happens. And then they go out and they say, look, you know what? We paid this guy $40 million. We're going to give him his opportunity to actually go out there and perform. I don't see them, lowballing Barkley or trying to play hard with him. I see them offering a really good contract for market value of what it is. And that's the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to keep this fucking team together as much as they can. And there was a few things that needed to be fixed, and that's what they addressed. And that's the bottom line. And I don't think fucking people should fucking overthink it or overanalyze it or say this shit's falling apart or that we're hanging our hat on Daniel Jones or whatever quarterback we draft, if we even take one, in this year's draft with the first round. There's a lot to like buy into that shit. You know what I mean? And look, you know what? He's playing mind games already too, because one of the other things he said was he referred to the first 4 picks that the Giants have in the first 70 picks as capital and assets and not as draft picks. So he's playing a lot of mind games there too, Shane. You know what I'm saying? He's saying one thing about keeping Jones, but then he's referring to these draft picks as assets. So he's getting feelers, and that's a smart thing to do, and it's encouraging. So for me to see that they won the way they did against the Eagles and the way that they are handling things at the end of the season here, I kind of feel encouraged about going into 2024 rather than seeing it the other way.
Bro, how mad are the haters going to be if Daniel Jones comes back next year and balls out again?
Yeah.
That'd be great. You know what I was thinking, John? I was thinking about tweeting on at Chad Powers at the BBO NYG podcast. Remember how when like and subscribe, you know how the Wolf of Wall Street, he's like, I ain't going nowhere. I think I might have to tweet that out again just to get the people stirred up. The Giants, Daniel Jones Hater Club members all fucking riled up. All right, guys.
What's funny though, Mike, with that though? You know what their comeback is now? Well, then we're gonna have to be looking for a new head coach by the end of next year.
Oh yeah, I already see that.
Literally, that's it.
They always got something.
Real fun out of them anymore.
They always got something,
and they'll be rooting for it. Don't you worry.
Listen, guys,
I'll be honest with you, I'm tired of it being a revolving door. Look, if we go into this season in 2024 and it's just a disgrace where we're getting blown out and run all over, and the offense is putting up 15 points. All right, I guess we got to do another change. But man, I want to finally be committed to saying that these guys are our future. This is the guys that are going to lead this team back to fucking being competitive and maybe to the promised land. I'm tired of fucking like just circling around looking for the next hot coordinator or coach. I'm over that shit, man. I just don't want to keep doing it.
Let's hope so. So stay tuned for the offseason. Maybe all those questions will be answered for you. All right, guys, it's time for the picks. Last week I got to toot our horns because we did pretty well. We only had 3 losses out of all the games we fucking played. It was pretty nuts. So we had a good week.
What were the 3 losses? I'm just curious.
I forgot. I don't have the website anymore because it's now playoff times. Yeah. So I had to get the spreads off of ESPN now instead of the original website. But we did good. So listen to us if you want to win some money. The very first game, Saturday game, 4:30. Oh, I love this game so much, Jules. I think about throwing everything I own on it. Cleveland Browns are -2.5. They're in Houston against the Texans. Cleveland Brown got that great defense. And you know what? Houston, without Tank Dell, they kind of fucking dropped down quite a bit with the quarterback and the offensive play. So I love the Browns all day, all night. Give them to me.
I'm going Browns too, baby.
I mean, look, I honestly, that's probably one of the games that I'm looking forward to this weekend for sure. Mm-hmm. And that it kicks it off is great. It's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be a good one.
I'm very
interested. I think the Browns, especially with Flacco quarterback, are going to be the more experienced team. And I think that's what's going to give them the advantage. And that's how they beat Houston. but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I won't put my house on it. I think it's going to be a lot closer than you think, but I think the Browns pull it out in the end and cover.
All right. Well, the next game,
Oh.
this game, it's on
Oh.
Peacock. You got to get the cock if you want to watch the game.
Well, yeah, you know what's crazy about that?
Don't be shy.
It's the first NFL playoff game to be on a streaming network.
Oh yeah, it's
Streaming
the very
only.
first.
Streaming
Yeah,
only.
they had me buying it a fucking month ago. So watch.
I was gonna say, yeah. For those of you who didn't, you could probably get a 7-day free trial just so you could download it and watch it at home.
Yeah, I wonder how the contract worked. If they own this game from the beginning of the season, or they were able to pick the game that they wanted in that slot. Because to luck out and get Dolphins at Chiefs is a fucking score and a half. Imagine they got Browns at Texans.
I know. Actually,
nobody downloaded Peacock for that game.
I know that is true. You know, but now you get Miami.
You got a defending Super Bowl champ and a market like fucking Miami in that. That's crazy.
That's a fucking gold ticket, man. Yo, Miami in Kansas City, right? Kansas City is favored by 3.5. I don't like the line at all. I like Miami getting the points. I know Miami got bad injuries, man. They lost Bradley Chubb, man, recently last week. Ton of injuries, but they still played pretty good against the Buffalo Bills. They had them down to the wire. Miami's offense could go crazy at any moment. And remember, Kansas City, Mahomes this year hasn't looked good. He looked like pretty shit, to be honest with you. Kelsey looks old. He's banging Taylor Swift, so his career's over. And I don't know who wide receivers are going to play. Is it going to be Richie James for Kansas City? Give me Miami Dolphins getting 3.5.
Your boy Rice, ain't it?
Oh, yeah, Rasheed Rice. Just give me Miami. Give me the Dolphins. You know what I mean? Ray Fickle, baby.
It's going to be on you. I'm going Chiefs here.
Yeah, I mean, dude, come on. Honestly, like, fuck it. To think that Miami's going to come in limping and go into Kansas City where they rested all their starters last week and beat them in Kansas City as the defending champs, they're going to be a first and out? No way. That ain't happening, bro. Chiefs definitely beat Miami. It might not be pretty. I'll give you that much. But
I think, Jules, this is the bet you do. You take Kansas City money line to win, but you take Miami Dolphins with the points. Take them 3.5 or 4.
I tried to catch that split. I tried to catch that split.
Yeah,
it's tough, bro. It's a tough.
It is,
you motherfuckers, bro.
It is tough. I hit it on the Dallas Miami game.
I wonder how much money I saved in my life not ever fucking jumping into that pond and fucking gambling with sports.
You probably do.
This whole podcast would be a gambling podcast at that point. The three of us would be just talking, going over each other for fucking an hour.
The feeling you get on the inside when you gamble your fucking paycheck away, it's fucking amazing.
On the edge of the knife, bro. Damn.
There was times, John, where it's like, yo, can I donate blood at midnight for money?
Oh, bro, listen today.
That's why I used to love betting college all the time because
before I forget this,
have a 12 to 12 hour gap to fucking bet and keep gambling. That's why that Hawaii game used to get gambled on so much back in the day.
So
those of you that know
it. I was listening to Are You Garbage, which is a phenomenal podcast. If you guys don't listen to it, either you two or listeners, and what they asked a question, which thank God I'm not in and will never be in this position again. But if ever anybody who's listening to this is in this position, if you need to, like you're short a few $100s and you're getting paid in a couple of days. What someone asked was, is it garbage to go to like a CVS with a check and buy a gift card for like $300, $400 to hold yourself over for a couple of nights until you get paid? So by the time the check hits in your account, you'll have gotten paid and you can front yourself a few $100s. So if you guys are ever in a position like that, not that I'm trying to get you into more trouble, but you can write a check to cover a gift card. You get the gift card up front, like an Amex card, where you could use it wherever you need. And then by the time it clears in your account, your paycheck will already have been deposited, so you don't get any like fees or any kind of problems.
That's an idea.
Yeah, I heard that and I was like, bro, when I was broke, I wish I knew that shit. That's fucking great. Thank God I don't have to worry about it. Like I said,
oh, that would have been nice.
That would have been crazy back in the day.
That's fucking gangster, bro. I mean, I got to get this out to the world.
That is. Listen, it's trust me, there was definitely a lot of ideas popped in your head when you were fucking gambling back in the day. That's for fucking sure. All right. Next game, the Sunday game, 1 o'clock game. Pittsburgh is in Buffalo. Yo, Pittsburgh is getting 10 points
Bro, that's a lot, dude.
to a Buffalo team that's been injured for most of the year. Their offense is still shaky, and
That's a playoff
Pittsburgh fought to get in. That team is looking
Dallas
a
isn't
lot
even getting
better.
that much at home against the Packers.
I think Buffalo
Like,
wins.
significant difference.
I like Buffalo to win, but not to cover. No fucking way.
I think you could do the same thing on this game as you said the last game with that fucking switcheroo thing.
I think so. That might be an option.
On the points, I mean,
Yeah, that's a little high, right, Jules? Even
it's a
for
little
you, and
high.
you're a
I
Buffalo
just-
fan.
2 scores.
You're a
I'm
real life
trying to
Buffalo
think.
fan. You're not even a Giant fan, I don't think. You love Buffalo.
I'm trying to think though why that spread is as high as it is. Like, yo, you know what it is? It's this. I'll be honest with you. This will
Norris is
sum it
about to hit
up
up
the
there.
best way I can tell. If you can tell me that I'm gonna get 75, 80% of the good Josh Allen on that Sunday game, they cover. But if I get the Josh Allen that played against fucking Miami, they ain't covering shit. They'll win the game, but they ain't covering shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm really surprised by that line. I'm very surprised by that line. I would probably, if I really do touch it, wait till the fucking last minute, probably tease them down or maybe try to do the double hit like you mentioned.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the upset of the week. Pittsburgh upsets Buffalo in Buffalo.
Oof.
But like money, like you're betting
Money
that.
line. Pittsburgh
Come on,
money line.
dude.
I'm telling you right now. Watch out.
With fucking Rudolph Mason?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm telling you. Watch out.
Bro, he struggled against the fucking backup team in Baltimore. Bro.
Look how
If it
Buffalo.
That's
wasn't
crazy enough to
if it
work
wasn't
right
for a
here,
late
fella.
Fumble,
Buffalo's
they blew that
injured.
game.
Buffalo is injured on defense, right? Their
They
offense
don't have
looks
JJ
shaky.
Watt, dude.
You
They don't
know,
have JJ Watt.
I know, but I'm telling
That's
you,
the quarterback.
Mike Tomlin, bro. I don't trust. I trust Mike Tomlin more than I trust that guy in Buffalo. The coach that's probably going to lose, and he's going to get fired. Watch him get fired when he loses his game. I'm telling you, he'll be out of a job. And then Belichick will go to Buffalo. Belichick will go to Buffalo and then win the whole fucking shit again. All right, so who are we taking?
Could you imagine? Oh, everything you just said. Yes.
Right?
Everything you just said. And
all right, so I like Pittsburgh.
To whatchamacallit, to the Giants with DC job.
That'd be sick. I like Pittsburgh, guys. Who are you taking?
I gotta go Pittsburgh. I love everything you said just now.
Take the points, I guess.
Gotta take the points. All right, cool. Next game, 4:30 game. Green Bay is in Dallas. Dallas is favored by 7.5. Yo, Dallas, man, they look nasty. They do. They really look.
Fuck Dallas, Mike.
I want to say fuck them, John, but this is betting. I want to take Green Bay, but Green Bay just disappoints me, man.
Right, I'm signing off now. See you guys next week.
Well, listen, no, John. See what Mike fails to say is it's let Dallas continue looking good this week. Let them handle Green Bay at home and fucking look like studs and whatnot, and let them get all their fucking inflated heads, and let's hear Texas and fucking all these Cowboys fans and sorry,
big build up.
49ers. And if Detroit gets through that game against the Rams, because it is a little bit of an if, and we're gonna get to that in a minute, they're gonna get a rematch. Detroit versus fucking Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, Detroit got the number 1 seed in the NFC.
They're the number 3 seed.
3, yeah.
So, So basically, the winner of the Eagles and the Bucks, which we'll get to in a moment.
Oh, there's more games. I thought it was at the bottom. I didn't realize there was more games.
And the winner of the Rams in Detroit played a winner of Green Bay and Dallas.
Yeah, I was looking. I was like, why is there no fucking?
I see Dallas rolling. I see them beating Green Bay. I see them handling them.
I do
know what
too.
I'm trying to say? I think they cover that line easily. But like I said,
it's a sucker's bet, Jules. It's a sucker bet to take Green Bay. There's no doubt about it.
They're baiting you there. Like I think Dallas is going to win by 10 pretty easily.
Yeah, I think so. All right, the next game. Yeah, we're just talking about it in Detroit. Detroit is favored by 3.5 over the Rams. The Rams was my sleeper to go to the Super Bowl, so I gotta ride with the Rams. Detroit, they have no pass defense. If you're gonna bet anything, bet the over in this fucking game.
I'm going my heart here, just going with Detroit. Yeah, Detroit.
Laporta being out worries me a little bit. Stafford
That's
playing his first game in Detroit for the first time since leaving. All right. There was even memes going out that Stafford jerseys will not be allowed in the building. All right.
wow.
Like
oh shit, Stafford's going back to Detroit.
Stafford's going back to Detroit. So that
bro,
should
the
be
NFL's fucking rigged, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
It's a soap opera, man.
Chiefs, Dolphins, fucking Stafford goes back to Detroit. Get the fuck out of here.
Days of our lives, bro. It's a soap opera.
No, it fucking totally is, dude. You know what I'm trying to say? It absolutely is. And with the Cowboys and here's the thing, the way I'm really looking at it. I put a crazy bet on fucking the Rams a few weeks back where I like put down like $20 to win like 1,300. You know what I'm saying? If they got to go and win the Super Bowl, not just make it, but whatever. So like I'm kind of rooting for them and not have the interest in there. But I guarantee you this much: if the Cowboys win and handle the Packers like they do, Detroit's going to beat the Rams and they're going to cover because they want the NFL is dying for that rematch between Dallas and fucking Detroit. No question about it. So I'm going to take Detroit right now, but I'm telling you right now, if and when Dallas covers against the Packers and you see that, send it in hard on Detroit. Sam Laporta or not, they're going to find a way to win that game.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
So San Fran got the
they're on the
bye.
And
Baltimore got the bye.
Right, that's right.
And those are the two teams that actually.
If you want to flip things to the AFC, which kind of dampens what you were saying about the Steelers thing there, Mike, most likely Miami loses in Kansas City. Buffalo beats Steelers, and you get Buffalo and Kansas City in a rematch to play the winner of Baltimore versus either Cleveland or Houston, which most likely will be Baltimore to go to the AFC champion, for the AFC championship game. So crazy. If the NFL is truly scripted, you're kind of seeing the way things are unfolding here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
let's watch this episode back in 5 weeks.
Yeah, for real. All right, here we go. The last game,
Monday night too.
The Monday night game. Oh God, John's gonna hate me too on this one. Philadelphia Eagles are -3 at Tampa, but I tell you what, I've watched a lot of Tampa Bay games, and I bet on them, bet against them. In all honesty, they fucking stink. I know fucking Philly has been like kind of this not doing anything the last couple weeks, and we want them to lose, and I hope they lose, but I don't think they lose. I think they win, and then when they play next week, they lose.
John?
Well, he was right. I wasn't gonna like what he said. I don't. I'll never take Philly in anything. I'll never take Dallas in anything. So don't follow my advice.
Tampa won 9-0 against the fucking Carolina Panthers.
They're not good.
I forget what receiver from the Panthers basically is scoring a touchdown and fumbled it out of bounds. Or else that game is completely upside down and different. So I'll tell you this much though, and it's fucking hilarious. I'll look sometimes on CBS just to see like the percentage of who's betting on what. There's an overwhelming bet on this game, and it's the under. Currently sitting at 44 points. 92% of the money is on the under.
Take the over.
Wow. Yo,
take the over. Take the over. You know what that means. Take the over.
92. I mean, granted, it's early. We still got like 5 days before this game. We're almost
31-28 game.
Yeah.
All right. Give me one key bet from each of you guys for one game only.
Okay. I'll go. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
I'm going to say Dallas.
Dallas?
Yeah. For this week.
John?
I want to say Detroit, but at the same time, I don't like this fucking scripted shit that you're talking about. So that's kind of.
They got to play Dallas next
week.
They need that rematch.
I'm stealing yours, Mike.
Yeah, I love the Browns. I'm telling you, I'm gonna throw the money on it. But I'll take the Pittsburgh Steelers in the upset. Yeah, I'll take them in the upset. Listen, we bet that money line, Pittsburgh. You won't be disappointed.
That's a wrap. You said
that
would be phenomenal, dude.
Oh my
God. Seeing that, like,
you better put money on that game, Mike.
Come on down, Belichick.
I love that fucking that.
You better put some money on it. You don't have to put your normal crazy bets, but at least something. All right, guys, let's go through the horn here then. Because you can't make this pick next week with the remaining teams left in the season. Who's going to the Super Bowl? You want to start? You want to do conference first, or you want to just do matchup?
Let's do matchups. Let's take. You know what? For this week, let's do the matchups. AFC. I'm gonna go with what I liked from earlier on is just the Ravens. I think they're fucking nasty. That defense is pretty fucking nasty. What about you guys in the AFC?
I'll say mine together because it's kind of linked. What I'm gonna say because I have no like real
Okay.
gambling advice
Okay.
here. Just trying to think of something funny.
All right, John.
I'm
Go
I
ahead.
have something.
I mean,
I'll just wait.
Wish-washy on this, to be honest with you, because I think that AFC is wide open, to be honest.
It is.
Like, you could see a team like Cleveland, if that defense is really going, they could.
Oh, that's one of my
That,
teams.
that could be a sneak up team because the way you look at it, they could beat Houston. They go on, they play Baltimore, who's a team they're familiar with. You know what I mean? They split in the regular season. So them pulling out an upset there isn't shocking. It paid. Look, if you tell me that Buffalo plays like they did against Dallas and the way they were doing down the stretch when they were 6-6, fucking going into Philadelphia, you know, around Thanksgiving, and they play like they've been playing, or they play like they did against Miami, that's where I'm conflicted because if they play like the prior, I can't see anything beating them. At least not till the Super Bowl. And if they play like they did last week, they're gonna get beat by Pittsburgh.
Well,
so you know what I'm trying to say? Like that's how I stand with it because
you got to pick. Stand your ground.
I think Baltimore resting so many goddamn fucking players worries me, and I think every time those teams are overconfident because I can't keep putting these number one seeds in the fucking Super Bowl.
Spit it out.
Spit it out, Jules.
I'll go Buffalo. Fuck it.
I knew. I fucking knew it. All that from fucking Buffalo. I knew it was fucking coming. It was just fucking. It was bring around the rosy and shit. I'm like, I was gonna be like, just fucking say it. Spit it out, Jules.
I put money on them too, you know.
All right, so I got to set up my AFC team to get in line with you guys, and then I'll go first in the NFC.
All right, good.
So I am going Cleveland as well. I just think sometimes it's just football is like any given Sunday, man. You never know what's going to end up happening. So I'm going Cleveland, and for the NFC, I'm going Detroit in honor of one of my favorite rap battles, rap beefs of all time, Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly. One, because it actually resulted in some pretty dope songs.
Kelly's career.
It did.
I don't care. There's some dope songs. Kill Shot, fucking whatever the other ones were. I can't think of the top of my head right now. We're pretty fucking dope as far as back and forth songs are concerned. Secondly, it's the only known rap battle between whites. So,
hey, what?
Yeah.
What were the killer clowns that he used to fucking rap about all the time? What the fuck their name was? The clowns.
Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah, what they
well, not real rappers though.
They're not rappers, Jules.
Yeah.
Crisscross is more rappers than those.
Crisscross is too hip hop, right?
I mean, Jesus Christ, the kids that wear their fucking clothes backwards. All right, so NFC time. If I'm gonna have to pick an NFC team, you know, I'm going with my fucking Rams, man. I think with Sean McVay, yeah, they're my sneaky team that win the whole fucking thing in there.
So wait, John's got what? Cleveland versus Detroit. You have
the Rams against Baltimore.
Oh my god, what a fucking
that would be a nice game to watch, though.
Is it?
They played each other. It was a fun game. It was a nasty game.
Gentlemen,
let me
cut you short.
This is tough, man, because look,
dinner is on the table. I got chicken parm, fresh and made.
Shit. Tommy Cutlets.
You guys.
So then, John, who wins the rap battle? Detroit or
fucking? It's got to be Eminem, bro. Detroit's taking home the trophy. Let's go.
There it is. Okay. All right.
Roar.
There it is. All right.
All right, John.
We'll talk to you later, John.
All right. Good night, guys.
So, while he goes eats his chicken cutlets, Tommy DeVito cutlet, but
little cutlet time.
I would be all on Detroit if I knew Laporta was coming back. That's the only thing that's holding me back from really taking that pick. I think Detroit, Buffalo, and Super Bowl. That you know, you want to talk about rap battles? That's another one. You know, they're very close in proximity. They had a really good game last year. It would make for a good Super Bowl because you have these two franchises going for their first Super Bowl ever, both of them at the same fucking time. That's
pretty fucking.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like that. That's kind of dramatic. That's what you want. NFL, I could probably see them fucking doing Kansas City versus fucking Dallas. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I'll never pick Dallas to win the whole thing. They'll eventually fucking lose. So Buffalo against Detroit is where you're going.
Buffalo's Detroit. Let's do it. And then I gotta go Buffalo just because I got money on them.
Yeah, I'd say I'd probably I'm rooting for the fucking Rams, but I think Baltimore fucking takes it this year. I think they're too good.
Listen, and then here's the thing too, right? If the Detroit ends up beating the Rams, right? They don't lose that game because if they lose, I'm happy, and then I'm rooting for the Rams the rest of the way.
Mhm.
Right? And if it's fucking, and you're right, look, the likelihood that both number one seeds don't make it, it's probably San Fran, dude. You know what? I'm gonna retract that. With Laporta being injured, I think it's San Fran versus Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That's the real. I have to because there's
Yeah,
no
it's-
way I'm going to sit here and say that the number one seed don't come out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, who's
I know.
going into San Francisco and beating them? Who? Maybe
listen.
Detroit. I could see that team somehow pulling that shit out of their ass. But
Every
other
week
than
we're
that-
gonna have to do this. You
Yeah,
know,
I know.
because
I
one of
know.
our teams is gonna fucking lose. We're gonna have to
Of
pick
course.
again.
Of course.
So stay
Sure.
tuned for that shit.
You know how it is. But like I said, I'm sticking my guns. Buffalo, San Fran, Super Bowl matchup.
All right.
Run it.
There it is.
All right. Well, there it is. Listen, the 2023 season has fucking pulled its final curtain on the Giants. It hasn't on the rest of the NFL season. Stay tuned. We will be making some podcasts here and there during the playoffs into the Super Bowl, like we always do. Probably a little bit shorter episodes from then until now. And then before you know it, it'll be free agency and you'll be hearing about hirings and all this other good stuff.
Yep.
And we're going to start rolling into that 2024 season like it always does. But until then, pay attention to the bets, use your heads, bet like crazy, have fun, and enjoy playoff weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
Go win some money.